Okay, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't know who started the 21 and over with no kids trend, but I actually like it, and I'll tell you why. First of all, a lot of women who are mad at others like myself, and I mean women who are mad at others like myself who do not have kids, and like myself who aren't willing to have kids. So, yeah, you guys are really just mad at the baby fathers who abandoned you, rejected you, and as soon as you had the kid, just up and left. You know the sayings you keep hearing about the so-called the father told their kid they were gonna come back with the milk and the groceries and they never did. Well, that's how you feel. How do you think your kids feel without seeing their father probably, and who are without him? And then for you, you probably had this fantasy or thought that he was going to always be there. No, he wasn't. And that's why you're really mad. You're mad at the baby fathers who abandoned you because you loved them a little bit too much, and the baby fathers did not. And they didn't reciprocate that feeling right back. And so now you're mad with kids you also didn't even want. Luckily, your kids are seeing this trend. Also, if they're within legal age to be on this app, and they're seeing how you really feel, and that's not a good look, okay? And I would tell you this myself. I have cousins, I have siblings, at least an older one right now, whose kids are probably on this app as well. And I imagine they see this crap, and how do you think those kids feel? And your own kids, when they see that their mom is angry at women like me who refuse to have kids and also who do not even want to have them anyways. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You guys are showing those kids how much you can't stand having kids. That's what it looks to me. And what I also would say this to the baby fathers, who are suddenly very quiet and silent and probably watching all this crap virtually happen in real time and are on the same app as you, and they are probably so embarrassed, if not more like happy they did everything not to be in your life because of how unbecoming and uncamp you are, actually. And my opinion is, I think that's why you're upset, because you thought those guys were going to always be with her. No, this is what happens when you're too male-centered and you lost the plot, and now you're stuck with the result you didn't want. What you wanted was the fairy tale happy ending where you have like a marriage, a relationship, and someone that was going to be there at your beck and call, and your kids were going to come in, and that was like some kind of weird little fantasy you probably had. Yeah, well, guess what? This is reality. Fantasy's over. And by the way, all you see on the internet, TV, movies and stuff, it's just made up. Even the people who do action real life portrayal or whatever, or who aren't like in a cartoon or anything, guess what? They're just pretending, okay? That's just fine, okay? Nothing wrong with that. It's just a job. Sometimes some stories are told like that, and that is not your story. That's why you're mad at the 21 and over with no kids trend, because you feel that you were robbed of that right there. And also the man who's unwilling to be with you, or how many men you try to work with so many times with, and what you found out, none of them wanted to stay with you because you were not the goal anyways. You were just there, and you were just convenient for them to bust one and be done with one and then go on to the next one. And this is why they have a rap sheet of a bunch of anonymous women just like yourself sharing the same baby daddy, which is embarrassing in my opinion. Yeah. And by the way, for some women, they don't think having kids, and I think is a problem. Like me, I don't think it's a problem, but you guys took it as an issue. Now it's become a problem because you weren't meant to be a mom mentally, and you weren't ready to be that mother. I think this is really what it is. You didn't want to be a mom by yourself. You didn't want to be a single mom by yourself. And now that you're stuck with the product that you made out of the hopeful love you thought you were going to gain, and you just got, a rude awakening. In my feeling, that's why you're like this. So don't be mad at me and every other woman who decided not to ruin her peace to make an unpeaceful time for myself. Okay? I'm happy I don't have kids. And also, after helping my mom raise 3 disabled autistic kids that are nonverbal, can I tell you something there too? Yeah, there's a reason why I also don't want to have kids, because there's a possibility one of them's going to come out disabled, or all of them in my mom's case. And so now all 3 of them are unable to speak for themselves, take care of themselves, and one just became 18. As you can imagine, they're going to be like this for the rest of their life. So in my opinion, not having kids right now, especially in this day and age where they just removed abortion, where they also don't want to stop the shootings at all these random ass schools across the nation, to be honest with you, why the fuck would you want to have kids? Why the hell you think that was a good idea? You're just bringing death upon you is what you're doing. Just so you can give birth to a kid within 5 to 10 years later, you have to bury them. Because you don't know when these shootings are going to happen. You don't know what kind of kid is just going to feel like, oh, you know what, time to wilding out and try to wipe them out. Yeah. You thought you did something with that. No. So in this case, being 21 and over and having no kids, also saving future lives that don't need to die as a result because you thought that was going to help you to keep a man. Or you thought you were going to be part of making this fairy tale fantasy of yours about having this happy wife, happy life, having kids and a picket fence and a weird ass house that you and your supposed husband that was supposed to be together, and then he just didn't want to be a part of that story. So guess what? Whoops, there you go. In my opinion, yeah, I feel like me not having kids, I'm actually saving my so-called future kids, if I ever have any, saving them from the future prospect of becoming the whatever number shooting victim that is out there in this nation currently today. At least I did the right thing. I saved them by saving me. And guess what? That's how I am saving lives. I'm keeping myself in check. How about you, ladies? And also, have a good night. And also, have a good day. Bye.